I will now call this meeting to order. Our first order of business is to adopt the agenda for tonight's meeting. Commissioners, is there a motion to adopt the final agenda?
I'll move to adopt the final agenda.
Thank you, Julie. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. The motion does carry. The next item is the approval of minutes. And the minutes from the April 19th Planning Commission meeting were not included with the packet agenda for consideration. Commissioners, is there a motion to table the consideration of April 19th Planning Commission meeting until our upcoming May 17th Planning Commission meeting?
I'll make a motion to table the meeting minutes review.
Excellent. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All those in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you. We'll now move on to our first and only discussion item. And we have one discussion item on our agenda tonight, and it is item 3.1. And it's a public hearing to consider a request for amendment of conditional use permit for the zoned R3 property located at 7600 Victoria Drive. This item does include a public hearing. Before opening a public hearing, I'll now turn it over to planner Isaac Peterson for staff presentation. Isaac?
Thank you, Chair, members of the Commission. As the Chair noted, tonight for your consideration is a public hearing to consider a request for amendment of a conditional use permit for the zoned R3 property located at 7600 Victoria Drive. The applicant this evening is Mr. Pavette, along with his wife Heidi, who represent the Humanity Alliance. As noted, the property is zoned R3 within the multifamily residential district. And the applicant is proposing to construct a 360 square foot accessory storage structure for use as a walk-in cooler and freezer on the property. So just a little background for the commission. We've looked at this property in the last year or so, but just to rehash and kind of how we got to where we are today. For the commission's background, the subject property itself has had a long withstanding conditional use permit that's run with the property initially to serve as the boys' home property and a kind of quasi group home use. There's a previous conditional use permit on the property that was approved in 2004 for the Mid-American Baptist Social Services Group to allow the property to be used as a boys' boarding facility. Upon recent purchase by the Pavettes in the last year and a half or so, the applicant requested approval of an amended conditional use permit to adjust the existing conditional use permit to meet what the Humanity Alliance was proposing for the property. That amended conditional use permit allowed for the Humanity Alliance to operate the property as a group home with independent sleeping quarters, shared living space, other shared facilities, as well as using the building's commissary commercial kitchen area to prepare and deliver meals to food insecure families in Carver County and surrounding communities. So in addition to that, the Humanity Alliance utilizes the site to provide accessible housing in a shared living setting for up to 10 individuals per that conditional use permit. Utilize the facility's commissary kitchen for meal prep and delivery to the area. And those meals are packaged on site for delivery through the kitchen. So upon amending that conditional use permit, there were some conditions added to it, one of which being condition number 8, which stated future building additions, accessory structures, any change of use not allowed within the current residential or current zoning district and or proposed changes to the conditions set forth in the approval shall require review of the conditional use permit by the city and may require an amendment to be permitted. The Victoria Planning Commission and City Council shall review all future conditional use permit applications and will consider whether or not amendment will be granted. So of course, the applicant is proposing to construct an accessory storage facility next to one of the existing buildings on site, the main building kind of called out here, which really triggers that conditional use permit review that we're doing this evening to consider an amendment. So the proposed facilities or storage structure is shown generally in this orange area on the screen before you. From a ground level, it's along this wall side, kind of wrapping around the existing building. And then here's a view from the front of the building, if you were on the Victoria Drive side. And then up above here is a reference image of kind of what the proposed facilities would look like from the manufacturer. And again, here's a layout of the existing building. It's not attached to the existing structure, but is immediately adjacent, kind of wrapping around the backside of the building for use and with access in. In addition, the applicant is proposing to put a screening fence on the Victoria Drive side of the facilities, kind of wrapping around the proposed structure, seen on the perimeter here. So as the commission is aware, city code guides a review of conditional use permits. Code notes that no conditional use permit shall be recommended by the planning commission unless it shall find that 1, establishment, maintenance, or operation of the conditional use will not be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare. 2, the proposed use at the particular location requested is necessary or desirable to provide a service or facility which is in the interest of public convenience and will contribute to the general welfare of the neighborhood or community. 3, the establishment of the conditional use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding property for uses permitted in the district. And 4, the conditional use shall in all other respects conform to the applicable regulations of the district in which it's located. Prior to granting any conditional use, the Planning Commission may recommend conditions and restrictions upon the establishment, location, construction, maintenance, and operation of the conditional use as deemed necessary for the protection of the public interest and to secure compliance with the standards and requirements specified in Section 3110. So staff has looked at the proposed facilities, and if the commission is agreeable, we would recommend the following condition be added to those already listed within the Humanity Alliance's conditional use permit for the property. The recommended condition would be that 1 accessory storage building serving as a walk-in cold storage facility is permitted. The accessory storage building shall not exceed 360 square feet in size and must fulfill all applicable building code and fire code permitting requirements prior to erection, and that the accessory storage building shall be visually screened with a 6-foot fence enclosure. So Chair, the applicant does join us here this evening. Mr. Pavet is prepared to chat through his proposed project with you and answer any questions that you have. And then we do have a public hearing as well that's required. Staff hasn't received any comments at this time for the public hearing. So I turn it back to you and I can stand for any questions.
Very good, very good. Thank you very much. Now officially I'll open up the public hearing, and Greg, you are the public. If you'd like to give us a little overview of your enterprise and what you're doing.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. Greg Pavet from the Humanity Alliance. We have the honor and privilege of serving. We started with a meal program, and these meals get delivered every Friday. in a bag that looks like this to cover the gap in access to nutrition. So a big gap, not only the nutrition, but the weekends where most entities are closed. The 7600 building came to us and allowed us the opportunity to not only have the commercial kitchen, but provide supportive housing. Most people have finished a program and on their way up. Gives them that ability over a period of time to have that supportive housing. Some of the magic of what happens out there is residents are able to actually work, and as the kitchen is finished now, you'll actually be able to walk to your job. So kind of a nice supportive housing with job component to it. The opportunity to have the cooler and freezer outside allows us to be at scale. Right now, we're serving about 4,600 meals every Friday. Last year, we delivered 236,000 meals, 58% within Carver County. So I think we're just getting started. We have an amazing support from the community, volunteers, churches, temples. A group called Bio Girls, I think is actually just down the street. 35 girls came out on Friday as an example, or on Sunday, and lifted us up. So it's a beautiful opportunity to see the community rally around a big need.
Very good. And your talk a little bit about the sources that you have for the food.
So in terms of ingredient rescue, we rescue, one way to keep our meal costs low and the meals accessible is we rescue ingredients. These are short date code, ready to enjoy, but right on the edge of a short date code. Last year we rescued 44 tons of ingredients that would have been thrown away, and turned those into the 236,000 meals. So the model is, how do we take this excess within our community, which the building also features, and turn these into high quality, served with love and dignity meals into our neighborhoods and community. It continues to grow, and the cooler and freezer allows us to do that, and at scale, which is really, really important.
And on average, you have how many volunteers, for example, on a Friday?
So we have, from Monday to Friday, there's somewhere between 50 to 50 volunteers that participate, mostly in 2-hour shifts. So it's kind of it's a fun opportunity just to come in and sneak a peek at what we're up to. But that's somewhere between 50, 55 volunteers between Monday and Friday. Really amazing to watch.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. I will, I'll seek a motion to close the public hearing, and then we'll have an open discussion with the commissioners at that point. Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. The motion does carry. Now I'll open up the floor to the commissioners, Planning Commission, to discuss any questions that you may have.
I remember from the first variance, I think there were questions relative to parking, and you're obviously taking some space away from the side of the building, and even, I guess, egress for vehicles to kind of move back and forth. Do you have many tractor trailers or anything that kind of come through that corridor? Is it going to be a little tight?
So I think the code, and I'm not the expert on the code, you have some amazing experts on code, but it's a little over 20 feet to get the fire equipment back there. That needs to be currently, so that's important and taken care of. But what we've seen in terms of flow right now is that the drivers on Friday, as an example, are driving to that back parking lot and almost doing like a little circle and then driving back out. So we haven't staged, while we will stage along that, I don't know the best way to point this out, but on your driveway in, yeah, thanks, Isaac. On the driveway in, we can stage some of the cars either coming or going, out or in. But typically what we're seeing is they come in, they come out, they pick up their meals within probably a 3 or 4 minute time period and then head back out. So we haven't, I put the van there occasionally. You'll see a white van from Inky that we borrow. But occasionally I'll park the van there, but no, we haven't parked not parking any cars there.
I remember there were some discussions on how many
Right, we had 13 spots, I do remember that. And what's interesting with the residents, we actually haven't seen that yet, which is great. We've got nine people in the building now, which has been amazing. And we actually have a shared car, so we have plus one car in there for residents as well. I would tell you if I saw it, because we'd have to build something to alleviate that. But we haven't seen where that one will take it away though yet.
And my second question, and then I'll open it, let other people talk, but you obviously, are you eliminating like a fire exit or anything? Any egress out of the building? Or was there nothing on that side?
Nothing
You
on
can
that
see it on the
side.
other side.
Yeah, we had a little small brick facade on that wall. Yeah, there it is. But nothing. Yeah, nothing. Back doors there. It's a pretty elegant little design. The group that designed it is Horizon. They have the expertise in this space. Have been doing a lot of commercial kitchens for a long.
You have to cut through the wall to provide your
correct
egress into there. Got it.
Correct. Right. And it's a. I can't wait to have to invite you out for a meal out there. But it's a tight but mighty kitchen for sure.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
And so, yeah, the first question was the fire lane, seeing that it was going to narrow. So that has been addressed in terms of required distance.
Commissioner Ream, Chair, members of the commission, at this point, and to the applicant's credit, they've been working pretty closely with the city building codes and the fire department. The fire department does feel comfortable with the ingress and egress out of the parking lot. Staff did recommend that building and fire code be included if it were to be approved with a conditional use permit approval, just to verify that that's done, not that we don't believe that it would take place.
Yeah. And then second, it just for context. I thought 4,600 meals a week, 236,000 a year. With the addition of this refrigerator, what's the upside goal that you're seeking to be able to accommodate with the additionality?
Thank you. To date, we've been serving out of kitchens. So we were at St. Victoria Kitchen. We're now at Mount Olivet's Kitchen, which has been wonderful. What we're able to do with the new kitchen is provide more of a commissary approach, where we're providing maybe a bulk, almost like any of the grocery stores would do, Trader Joe's or Kowalski's would do a commissary approach where you're preparing large-scale meals and then moving those large-scale meals into the community. What happens there then is you're able to build that capacity within the community where you're serving. So it's a different approach. 5,000 is the max in terms of what we want to deliver on a weekly basis as an entity, but it doesn't mean you can't provide enough meals in bulk in a different form going into the communities where that's more in the 20 to 25,000 a week approach. It's just a different way of looking at it. And really a textbook from the restaurant industry or from the grocery store industry that's been doing it for years. So we do see upside there, and we would do that through partnerships, Boys and Girls Clubs, places like this, through existing partnerships.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was wondering, I'm still not 100% clear. So you'll have access into the cooler from the building itself?
Correct.
All right, so that's along the wall in between what formerly are two windows on that one side, correct?
Yep.
And then will there be an external entrance as well from the backside?
Yes.
By the back door?
Yep.
Okay, and then I'm just a little bit concerned about safety protocols. Do you have something in this cooler that keeps people from getting trapped in there? Or can they exit, or is there a phone to call for help?
Exit. They're all pretty well versed. It is probably one of the most scariest things that you can think of like, hey, am I going to get trapped in this cooler? So part of our safety protocol with any new or existing volunteers, here are the handles, here's how you get out. Our youngest, who's 15, had a good experience with that, so she understands how to get out of the cooler. All the coolers are designed to exit safely.
Okay, and then
there's no way to lock it from the inside out.
And then in the external entrance, you're going to have that locked in the evening so that people don't decide to drive up and steal food.
It's a key. Yeah, I mean, if you're stealing it, maybe you need it, but it's a key code. We have a fob. So it's a fob approach where you only have a key to that cooler if you're the executive chef or one of the staff. Yeah, good questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns?
I don't have any concerns. My family and I had the opportunity to volunteer at one of the remote kitchens and saw how much space you need. So I can see how you definitely need this space here. And I think as long as you're meeting the fire code on the entrance and access and egress, I think it's needed. I can see how you would want to have it all concentrated instead of traveling and trying to do it all over town.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Very good. Any other?
I just had one quick question for Isaac. So the conditional use permit, this exists and stays with the property. Should they decide to sell, these covenants remain, correct?
Correct. So Commissioner Vansky, Chair, members of the commission, the conditional use permit runs with the life of the property. So if, not that we want that to happen, but if the Pavets sold the property tomorrow, whoever received the property would still have those conditions in place.
Okay. So, in regards to that, I'm generally comfortable with your draft amendment, but should we give consideration that the 6-foot fence have additional descriptions that says that structure should be consistent with the architectural quality of the existing structure, so that if any I'm sure that you're going to say, I want this to look nice, but 20 years you may sell, and then the next owner comes by and says, that fence is rotted, I'm just going to put up a ratty looking chain link fence around it because to stay in compliance with the conditional use permit. Can we amend that to have consistency with the existing structure?
Yeah, Commissioner Vansky, Chair, members of the commission, that's certainly possible. Just, it may be helpful reference to hear what the applicant intends with the fence,
Sure.
To help guide maybe what that would look like in a condition.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. The part of the benefit of Unity Lodge, as we refer to it, is it feels like home. So we want residents, when they drive up, to make sure that feels like home and not.
Yeah, and then I guess that's what I'm driving at, is that so that it feels like home,
Yeah.
but in the future that somebody doesn't make home feel like a minimum security prison.
Right. No, that's true.
that's-
True. Yeah.
You've
Yeah,
done great work. You want to
It
continue.
needs to look elegant and as beautiful as it does today. We have one of our residents actually working on the porch who just started his own painting business, is now redoing the front porch so it looks perfect. So we would like that kind of perfection continued.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
One more quick question. How tall is it relative to the 6-foot height of the fence?
It'll
Do you have an
be
estimate?
that 6 foot right in that front there. There are two condensing units, so they're
Yep.
they're really, really short.
Okay.
And then I don't. I need to just reference the height real quick, but it'll be
Yeah, it was consistent
there,
with
yeah.
what the other rules were for that
Yeah,
R3, I recall, which is like 14 feet max.
yeah. Commissioner Ream, Chair, members of the commission, the structure itself, I believe, is about 8 feet tall, or hair over, so there'd be a deficit of 2 feet from top of fence to top of structure. Just piggybacking on what Commissioner Vansky mentioned, if the commission would like, typically a screening fence is a 90% opacity wooden fence, if that's what you had in mind, and is consistent with your discussion, we could incorporate that within the condition.
I mean, I'd say it's
Or-
Could be vinyl
Consistent.
Free
fence.
material.
Yeah.
it's fair to be really.
Yeah, I just,
Like in Hazel.
right. I mean, I don't want to place an undue burden on this
Yeah.
project to get it off the ground, but, hence just the more loose language of, architecturally consistent with
Okay.
with the structure, I think becomes satisfactory. And I would think that hopefully you'll be around long enough for the fence replacement.
Get a color to complement
going
the
anywhere.
rest of the facility.
Well, and opaque does make sense, given
Yeah.
when you remove the idea of the chain link.
Yeah. I believe,
I
not
don't
that,
think you can have that in Victoria anyway.
yeah. Chair, members of the commission, I believe the guidance that we have on the books would be close to what's referenced for a dumpster enclosure unit. The city has specific design criteria for that. So we
I
can.
don't like a kitchen referring to a dumpster, though.
Right. Agreed. But to the point of opaqueness and
Yeah,
things to
I
that.
hear you.
But
The overall design was the privacy fence that was put up by, for the neighbors at Mount Olivet on the north side. And it was that alternating, and I think that was 6
Those were
foot.
wood slats, they didn't want the vinyl solid, right?
Yep.
But I think the vinyl silent would be fine.
Certainly. I think we got some good direction that we can incorporate.
Great, thank you.
Any other concerns, any other discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion? Would you like to put yourself in that position?
Sure,
I'm waiting for him to give us the answer.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the addition to the the conditional use permit, which is drafted as item 9 on the sample motion, and subject to the revisions that we discussed in our planning session. Or if we want to be more specific, I'll use the sample motion. Move to recommend that City Council approve the application requesting conditional use permit amendment to allow for a 360 square foot accessory storage structure for the property located at 7600 Victoria Drive, subject to the conditions as presented and discussed.
Very good. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Very good. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Approved from the Planning Commission, Greg. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can't wait to have you out for a favorite meal or a bowl of soup. Maybe we'll do a
Excellent.
City of Victoria, something celebrating our heritage.
Very good.
Make us volunteer for a couple hours first.
That'd be good, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, you have,
One of our meetings.
you have quite a team of volunteers, I don't mind saying. I know many of them, and it's very remarkable, and that, quite frankly, speaks very well for what you're doing and how you're doing it. So, yep, the best of luck going forward also. Real good.
With rising food prices, do you think how does that possibly impact you?
We love it because that means you have to reinvent. So some of the things we're looking at is how could we, in partnership, potentially grow different ingredients that could help some of the protein that we're using now. So that collaboration closer with the farmers, we think would be really, really interesting. It's going to force us to do.
You got some property. Do you want to raise some vegetables? Or?
We would love that opportunity. Yeah, that is kind of how the pieces you have to look at it in terms of what we're really starting to do. That infrastructure piece will play an important role in our
Community garden.
community gardens have been amazing. Charleston Meadows, Hope House Garden. We have local gardeners bringing just an abundance. So it's the freshest of the fresh, the best of the best comes. But we are looking, as food prices do continue to pinch, we have to look at different ways to keep that quality as high as possible.
Right. Well, and the need may rise too, right? For help.
The need is rising.
The need for help.
The need is
Yeah.
rising. And it's the traditional narratives in the space are not. We haven't seen them. We have a grandmother watching 6 kids now because of some family occurrence. A spouse passes unplanned, and next thing you know, you've got a parent in the situation. You have somebody suffering a brain injury that's on their way back. So maybe it's temporary, maybe it's longer term, but it's fascinating to see the opportunities and then how something as simple as just a fresh prepared meal delivered to your doorstep, the impact it can have. So, but without the volunteers, not a shot. So we just every week we get lifted up and move forward. But yeah, we have to be one step ahead of it in terms of thinking of some of these challenges that sit in front of us.
One of the, I'm very, very familiar with another parish in Chaska that is doing something somewhat similar, and the discussion that we have is absolutely shocked at the need. Just, you know, beyond shocked at the need and the numbers of people that have the need too, so.
Yeah, I think the piece that we like to see is, as we're serving, there's an opportunity for the recipients to also volunteer. So sometimes we're in this little bubble, we're thinking, you know, okay, well, how are we gonna get volunteers? Well, the people that are coming, I would say at least half, if not more, really wanna be a part of something. They're not there for that, if you will, that people would refer to as a handout. They wanna participate. So by invitation, if we make that invitation and that becomes the new norm, then the person we're sitting alongside as we're serving, whether we're washing a potato or delivering on a Friday,
Yeah,
we're all doing it together. And that person, I can tell you, our volunteers that come that also receive meals float out of there with their meals on Friday, knowing that they also have contributed. It's that piece of it, I think, is really, really important. So I hope we see more of that.
well, you have done a remarkable job, quite frankly, for the community and the people that you're serving, and so we congratulate you on that, and keep up the good work.
Thank you for all the support. Really appreciate it.
Real good. Thank you very much. Thank you. We will move on to miscellaneous section. One of the miscellaneous items is the last city council meeting that I attended. And this shouldn't take over 45 minutes.
We'll give you 5.
I'll compromise at 10. So this was the city council meeting, April 25th. There was a couple of proclamations, one of which was Mental Health Awareness Month. And that's probably one of those things that, okay, well, that's interesting, but it's another one of those items that I guess I was not aware that there was the level of need in that at the same time. One of the other proclamations was Teacher Appreciation Week, and another part of our society, quite frankly, that should be recognized, and we as a public should be following them real closely. The other thing that Dana Hardy did was acknowledge Marty. And she did a very good job of that, 2 years with the city. So many of us have worked with him for 2 years. She did talked about the appreciation that she and the city had for him. The next, there was a consent agenda, and one of the items was Ann Mankey, that heads up the Park and Rec, did a presentation on 8 new pickleball courts at the rec center, and it was approved for bidding, and the project for both the building and the design for approximately $495,000. Is that the number that you recall?
Sounds close, Mr. Chair. I don't know off the top of my head, though.
Yep. Yeah, I think it was $495,000 for 8 new pickleball courts. And many have said, I think we already have a bunch of pickleball courts, but my wife was on the Park and Rec, and the demand is just kind of overwhelming. And it is.
These are outside pickleball courts, right?
Outside, yep, outside.
Where are they going to be located? Near where the skate, no, but where the skate park is? It can be like adjacent to that?
The skate
Backing
park
up to the big baseball field?
getting
Yeah,
relocated.
on the north side of the building.
The recreation.
Yeah. And so she had approval for that. An awful lot of research went into it. some of the discussion. There's a lot of tennis courts that are breaking up and pickleball courts that are not having longevity. So there's some drainage issues which they addressed, and her group addressed it at the same time. There was a presentation by the Victoria Library, and it was the county director and then the director of our library here, and kind of interesting because we're here twice a month and we see an awful lot of families, an awful lot of kids, coming and going, and an awful lot of cars. And I knew that it was pretty busy, but where is it? Oh, the patronage doubled in the last year. Patronage doubled in the last year. That was the statistic. They had in excess of 5,000 kids for story time. So I don't know if story time is once a week, but it was very well received. So somewhere along the line, I guess the city is doing what they should be doing on that.
Well, it's Carver County, isn't it? The Carver County Library?
Yeah, Carver County, yeah. So there was the Carver County director, and then there was the director of our library here that did a presentation. This was an item that we had already approved, which was the contract to build out the fire station mezzanine level, and that was approved by the city council also. So that was on the agenda. One of the other ones, has anyone followed the website for the let me grab it. The strategic plan update. There's a website for it. Interesting. Quite frankly, I hadn't either. So, if you didn't, you're not alone. But it was kind of interesting. They did a review for the first quarter of 2022, and so the strategic plan. And again, you just Google the website, and there was 123 total projects that were on this. 46 have been completed so far, not bad. 23 are in progress, and 54 have started, but are in the process. Then the other thing was a project that we just did a few weeks ago was the Hunter Brook, rather, third edition. And the developer did the same presentation. There was basically the same questions that we had here. And one of the big questions was the private street, which they will figure out one way or another, but it remains a work in progress. I guess that's what we had described it as, was a work in progress. And so that will continue. And so one of the developer that was here, we left it at the same time, and he said, "So I'll see you in about a month or so, I would guess." So they're doing their work, and with Isaac, and we'll come back with a presentation. More something that will, I guess, essentially pass muster at that point. But there was a number of considerations, number of layout, variety of things. So that took me 10 minutes, or less than 10 minutes, so that's not bad. So that's all I will talk about at this point. Staff, is there any discussion items for you?
Mr. Chair, nothing from staff.
I just have a quick question. The Krause-Anderson, I think last we knew there was a May target date. We're in May now. Is that either fast approaching or has it been extended out?
Sure. Yeah, Commissioner Shorting, chair, members of the commission, staff is anticipating a more formal proposal to come in the next couple weeks here. So more to come for sure.
Very good. Commissioners, is there any items of discussion? Something. Give me something.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I say.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.